Welcome. I want to welcome you yet another episode of the Unpopular Podcast. It's your boy Jalen. And the Unpopular Podcast is a sports podcast. We always know, you see the background if you're watching on YouTube. This is episode, 90, 98. And it's been 98 episodes of straight sports. But I don't feel like talking. Well, let me say this. We all see, I kind of alluded to it last week, but it's escalated into a lot out in the streets. For people, we all know what's going on with the United States right now. Almost every city, every place is experiencing rioting. They're experiencing looting. They're experiencing protests there's a lot that goes into it. But the linchpin was the murder of George Floyd and the lack of action by first of all, the murder of George Floyd by the police. Then the lack of action or the lack of affirmative action against said murderers. I'm going to say this. I'm black. For people that haven't watched the podcast, I'm black. I'm African American. I'm a person of color, whatever you want to call me. And of course, I am affected by what's going on outside. Of course, I'm not. It would behoove me not to feel some type of way about what's going on. And people have told me, hey man, just stick to sports or don't say anything about it. But I would feel some type of way if you see what's going on and you can just go about your day like ain't nothing happening. Like you don't see, I'm from the DMV area. So you don't see DC and a lot, get protesters up and down the streets, or Minnesota or Chicago or any major place pretty much right now is experiencing protesting. I'd feel some type of way if you don't say something. And honestly, this isn't one of them days where I feel like coming in here with the regular, talk about sports, talk about something in the NFL, basketball, base. I don't feel like talking about that. Because to me, that would be disrespectful I would feel weird talking about it, Look, do I think that everybody matters? Yes. Do I think that Black lives matter? Of course. Do I think all lives matter? Yes. However, I am not the person that needs to believe that. The reason, and I'm not here to minimize the Black Lives Matter movement, and I'm going to tell you why. The Black Lives Matter movement is not to say that black people or black lives are above anybody else's. Black Lives Matter is not here to say, or Black Lives Matter isn't saying black lives are the only lives that matter. Black Lives Matter is to say that our lives are just as equal as anybody else's lives, and it should be treated as such. There should be no reason why African Americans are being slaughtered in the streets by people that we deem are supposed to be protecting us. No, I don't think one life is above the rest. Of course, I have connections like my family and loved ones, but no life is above another person's life. Life is life. I'm all about spreading love. However, I'm not the person that needs to listen to Black Lives Matter because I'm black. I already agree with it. I feel No life is above another life. But I also feel African Americans have been targeted. They've been unjustly attacked. They've been killed. They've been scared. They've been they've been brutally underappreciated by the people that are supposed to be quote unquote protecting us. There's a thing going on. You have and what's unfortunate is that George Floyd is one of many, and when I say many, many people that have been affected by this, or that aren't here to are dead. Let's just keep it a stack. Are dead. And there's people. There's people that have shot up schools. There's people that have shot up churches. There's people that have gone on mass shootings that are still alive to this day. But then you have people that sold loose cigarettes. You have people that supposedly had counterfeit money or a counterfeit $20 bill. Or people that was running, was jogging. People that was doing was chilling in their own house, that are not here to speak about their experience. Yet, like I said, there have been people that have shot up schools, shot up churches, shot up malls, killed multiple people that are here today. I'm going to let you figure out which one of those groups is African American and which one is white. Again, this is a sports podcast, so let's talk about sports real quick. We see sports figures wrap their arms around this situation. You see LeBron James. You see pretty much everybody on the Lakers. You see Jaylen Brown on the front lines. You see Mark Cuban and some of his players, Justin Anderson. You see Malcolm Brogdon, Steven Jackson, Karl Anthony Towns. That's just a few of many players. And I think Enes Kanter was out there, Trae Young. That's just a few of many, right? And while there have been Caucasians and other races out there supporting African Americans in their plight for not to be ahead of another race, but to be treated equally as another race. There are people that have been oddly quiet. Let me not say that, because there ain't nothing odd about it. They've been quiet. We haven't heard anything from Tom Brady. We haven't heard anything from, I don't think we've heard anything from Aaron Rodgers. Don't think we've heard anything from Drew Brees. Don't think we've heard anything from Peyton Manning, And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these people are racist at all. I'm not saying that at all. Don't hear me say that. But what I'm saying is, even though we know how large or how big a presence LeBron James has, we expect LeBron James to say something, because he said something time and time again. And he's African American. We expect someone like Steph Curry to say something. We expect someone like a Trae Young to say something, or like a Anthony Davis. We expect that because they're African American. And while their brand is large and wide, we expect it. However, there are some African Americans that have said nothing so far. Like Oprah, who is a billionaire, by the way. Tyler Perry, who just made just opened a beautiful studio. That was groundbreaking. You know, in times like this, you start to see who cares more about the situation or their brand. Again, I'm not saying Tyler Perry's racist. I'm not saying Oprah's racist. I'm not saying Drake, who hasn't said anything, is racist. I'm not saying Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. I'm not saying they're racist at all. And honestly, I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't really have the words to say, you know? I'm all about love, man. I'm all about spreading love. I'm all about equality. I'm all about fairness. I'm all about spreading love. I'm all about my spiritual walk and putting God first. That's what I'm about. And when I say I believe all lives matter, I believe all lives matter. But again, I'm not the person that Black Lives Matter is trying to convince, because I believe Black Lives Matter. I believe that African Americans should be treated equally than any other race. I believe that African Americans shouldn't be targeted by other races. I believe that. So when they say Black Lives Matter, you're not trying to convince me. You're trying to convince half the world that doesn't believe that, or that doesn't think that's true, which is don't believe. But back to what I was saying, I don't think that they're racist. I just think that they're choosing maybe brand over the situation. Hell, maybe they don't know what to say like me. But I do know this. Their following is hell of a lot bigger than me. So while I might be able to reach a couple people, they can reach a couple people times infinity. I don't want to forget why this all started. This goes back generations and generations, and you know, slavery and Jim Crow and segregation, and this isn't just a George Floyd thing, even though he's unfortunately another victim that you can add to this list. And when you look, you know, for people, for in situations like this, in times like this, you look for leadership. People look for who's someone that can eloquently express how we feel. And we've seen it. We've seen Steven Jackson say something. We've seen Barack Obama speak on it. We've seen multiple people speak on it, which have spoke eloquently. Hell, Killer Mike spoke really well. But then we've seen people that maybe shouldn't have said anything. Like, I don't know what T.I. was talking about, calling Atlanta Wakanda. I understand Lil Wayne has his viewpoints, but maybe you can just keep that to yourself. You know, again, I understand why people, hell, we saw what happened to Desi Banks and B. Simone. They got, hell, we even saw what happened to Michael Porter Jr. when he was like, pray for the cops family. Which, hell, I might lose a couple fans, but, you know, again, I think that I don't think that, you know, I'm not going to say, I think all lives matter, but again, when I say all lives matter, I'm not disrespecting or minimizing the Black Lives Matter movement, because I understand that me believing all lives matter then equals me saying that Black Lives Matter as well. Again, for people that are confused, Black Lives Matter isn't a thing to say African Americans are above anybody. Black Lives Matter isn't to say that Black Lives Matter but white lives don't, or Black Lives Matter but Asian lives don't, or Black Lives Matters and Hispanic lives don't. What it's saying is we have been systematically oppressed our entire lives. And it's time to show you guys that, or no, not show you guys. It's time for you guys to understand that we are all equal in this. And we should not be hunted down and attacked by the people that are sworn in to protect us. Now, no, I understand that not all African Americans have died by cops. I get it. But there has been an there's been a scarily high number. And for the people that say, well, why is it that we don't care if it's black on black crime, but we care if it's white on black crime? For those people, I say, first of all, you ain't never been in a hood at all. Because we feel if somebody dies, or you haven't seen a black community mourn once or cry out that, so and so killed so and so and they're the same color. Again, that's like saying, right? That's like saying, yeah, well, we're not saying that, we're not saying that when a white person kills a black person is bad. We're not saying it's not bad, but what about when a black person kills a black person? Like, what? All murder is bad, bro. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to minimize when a Caucasian kills a black person, because you feel like the same amount of energy is not given to when when a black person kills a black person. Yet, well, in turn, then what you're trying to say is you shouldn't take a white person killing a black person as seriously if you don't take a black person killing a black person that seriously, which in turn is like, wait a second. So what you're saying is it shouldn't matter, or we shouldn't feel some type of way if a Caucasian or a cop kills a black person because you don't see us react to a black person killing a black person. Interesting. It's always funny to me that, and I looked, someone brought to my attention, which is crazy. Like, we're supposed to entrust that cops will protect us, right? Yet I think it takes a cop maybe 4 or 5 months to be a cop, or it takes a person 4 or 5 months to be a cop. It takes a person longer to be a lawyer or a doctor or a nurse, by the way. It takes a person longer to be a nurse than a police officer. You have to go through more to be a nurse than a police officer. In fact, the closest profession, like in terms of lengthwise, is to be a CDL truck driver. You can be a CDL truck driver almost the same exact time you can be a cop. You want to know how people really view you? Or you want to know people's stances on things? Just listen to them when stuff hits the fan, or when their voice would be vital in this time. Just listen to what they say or what they or see what they do. Then you'll really see the true character of a person. Everybody's cool when you hit the game winner and the team is celebrating. But it's those times when you miss the game winner and you guys lose, and it's like, how do they really act? What do they really say? Sometimes saying nothing is as much as saying the wrong thing. So, and to the President of the United States, Donald Trump. You know, I'm one person that believes that a person can change. However, for a person to change, they have to be willing to change, or they have to want to change. And it seems time after time after time after time after time after time after time, Donald Trump says the wrong thing. Or, let me say this, says exactly what he feels. When the when the looting starts, the shooting starts. They have a protest in Washington, D.C. The one thing that the president is supposed to do is unite us. And what does he do? He turns off the lights at the White House. Like it's a signal to say, no, don't come here. We have no candy for Halloween. Because I was told when you turn your lights off like that, you do that in Halloween. Or if there's somebody like outside and, you don't want them to come in. Like, don't want them to know that you're here or something. This is the people this is a person that was elected. And the thing is, Donald Trump has said more things than a lot of people have said. Or a lot of people that should have said something have said. People show you their true character, man. And not only has he shown his true character time and time again, he lets that jump wave like a flag in the wind, man. Again, man, this is a sports podcast, but I wouldn't feel today isn't the day. There's a lot more important things afoot, man. This week ain't the week. You see brands coming together. You see Nike and Adidas coming together and putting out press releases. Hell, you see Michael Jordan, who was known in his career not to really go on the political side or really say anything about a current event because he doesn't want, anything he doesn't want his brand to get messed up. You've seen Michael Jordan say something. You've seen people time and time again say something, but again, I hope that, I'm going to be real with you. I'm a spiritual person, but maybe this is different. I haven't seen when the United States of America, almost every single state is protesting at the same exact time. Now, do I think looting is the answer? No, I don't agree with looting. I don't agree with stealing. But then again, for the people like myself, let me say this. I'm not upset about it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not upset about it. I'm not upset about it because I don't have the answers. I don't have the right way. And for the people that are saying, rioting and looting is not what you're supposed to do. Well, you tell me what is the right thing to do? Because we've tried peacefully. People say, what about Martin Luther King? What about him? Well, he tried peacefully. He died. He was assassinated. Then we we tried economically, and they continue to try to push back or try to move the line. We tried socially. That's clearly not working. So, for the people that are saying that rioting and looting is not the way, what's the way? You tell me the way, bro, because I don't know it at all. So, while I'm not one of the people that I don't think that you should loot. But again, I'm not mad at looting. I'm not mad at rioting because, again, I don't have the answer. I don't have a solution to this problem. So it's not really a problem to me because I don't have a solution. Now, I will say this. I do feel very unfortunate about the black owned businesses that are getting ransacked and looted and people are robbing them. I feel horrible for them because I've seen people on the other side. I've seen how hard it is to work your way up to get the money to get a shop or to get a business or to get a restaurant. Sometimes people put their, well, most of the time, almost every time, people put their life savings into that junk just for it to be looted. I don't agree with that, but again, that's one thing I wish, I wish we did a better job at protecting our black-owned businesses during this. But for the major corporations, man, it's insured, man. So I ain't tripping about it. No life. People trip more about material things than somebody's life. That is another thing that I've seen through this whole thing. People have tripped more about the looting and the Target and all the fires. And oh my gosh, look at these African Americans. They're doing what they're they're fueling the stereotypes. They care more about the looting than the fact that there is a person named George Floyd who is dead. They've said more about the looting than his murder. Again, people show you their true colors, man. So it's heavy, man. I thank you for all the people that have said something. I thank you for all the protesters. I thank you for the people that are continuing to protest. I thank you for the people that are risking their lives, man, for this cause, because it's like they always say during riots, if there's no justice, there's no peace, man. Now again, I'm all about love. I'm all about spreading love. I'm all about faith. I'm all about giving God his glory, giving God his everything, giving God your all. And I'm all about all lives matter. No life is above another life. But I will say this. I'm not with me saying that, I also then believe that black lives matter. So for the person that thinks all lives don't matter, or let me say this. For the person that thinks all lives aren't equal, then they in turn think black lives don't matter. For the people out there on the front line, man, keep doing your thing. I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for you. Stay safe. Understand that there are people there and people at home that are looking forward to you coming home and need you to come home. There are people right now that love you immensely. There are people in this world that care, and as you've seen a lot of them walking hand in hand. So please be safe to all the protesters. Please, 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 please be safe. To the family of George Floyd, again, I pray for you. I hope that you remain strong in this time. And I hope that you're able to find peace whatever way that you can. And for the media, I work in the media. I work in the media. That's and it's always funny. Well, it's not funny. It's kind of sad. It's not kind of sad. It's sad that you see how they cover different types of riots, different types of rallies. Almost about a month ago, there were men with fully automatic weapons at the courthouse, just chilling, protesting whatever the hell they were protesting. And they were labeled as working men, just working honest men, organizing using their right to organize. Riots and looting, peaceful protesting, and riots and looting that were started by other races. African Americans are the criminals. The criminals are organizing to riot. Oh, and don't get me started on the videos and how they're showing us people that are getting attacked, but they're not showing why they're getting attacked. I'll see a video of a man. In fact, I saw a video of a man that had a crossbow or a bow and arrow pointing at people. I think he flicked it at somebody, and they beat the brakes off cuz. It took Twitter for me to see that, because on the news, I just seen him bloodied and said there was 2 African Americans. But if you look on Twitter, there was a whole bunch of people that was beating the brakes off cuz, man. And the last thing I'm going to say before I go, the NFL. The NFL released a statement, we're for you, we're with you. We understand your struggle. We need to band together. Okay, sounds good. But where was that banding together when Colin Kaepernick took a knee? What they did, and what people did, was they twisted the whole thing until his original message got so cloudy that you couldn't even see it. Or maybe you didn't want to see it. Colin Kaepernick told you why he took a knee. Colin Kaepernick gave you examples why he took a knee. Yet and still, you still flipped it. And not only did you flip it, you blackballed him. But now, when it's more convenient, you're for the movement. Again, people show you who they really are in times of unrest. Again, I love all you guys. I love everybody. I think everyone are equal. But I need everyone that's not just black like me to also feel that everyone is equal. Again, today wasn't one of them days, man. Hell, I didn't write anything. So I don't even know if this is cohesive or what, but I thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for using your voice for good, using your body for good, using your actions for good. And it's all love, man. I love you guys. Stay safe. Please stay safe. And again, rest in peace to the family of George Floyd and every single person who has felt the devastation of police brutality. I pray for your strength, and I pray that you're able to find closure. Much love.